Oh,
Hey, yo, take that, take that, take that, take that.
oh,
Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully, I didn't burn the 10 on fire right here.
oh,
But special shout out to the Fight Phlebotomist, No ID Justin, joining us, and the CEO of the program, Nick, joining us from Parts Unknown uh, on this, I'd say, special edition. Tyler is indisposed at the moment, but we are here to give you what you need going into this sports weekend. So, without further ado, I will. Actually, I'll start with you, CEO Nick. How are you doing this evening?
I am amazing. Right now, I'm like about a few tips away from being Broadway Joe.
Hey, sloppy Broadway Joe. I like to see that. So, hit us in the comments if you have any questions for Broadway Joe. Justin, how are you doing this evening?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Of
I am
course.
already well past Broadway Joe.
Oh,
I, I, I waste no time. I'm more of a sprinter than a long distance runner myself. Um,
just don't smoke
yeah,
me.
I don't
In the
know.
Jamaican mold.
Some about those glasses you're wearing, I feel like you're gonna bobble a ball at shortstop, but I don't know. Whatever.
I take them off. I take them off.
Thank you, Tatis.
As you know, it's a free for all Friday. Also, I cannot afford the actual like Tatis frame, so let's not go crazy.
Yeah,
This guy's got all
it's because you
money
spent all
for
the money on the Tatis chain.
What? All the five.
never, never. Maybe CEO Nick. Ask him about that. He seems to be fascinated with that.
Well, he's paying Landon Donovan absorbent amounts of money to run a
Hey,
crappy soccer
whoa.
franchise. So
Ron, are the Loyals? Have they been beat yet?
In 9 games, no, they have not.
Okay.
yeah.
So all is well in the land of the loyal.
Nowhere to go
For
but
now.
down.
No, yes, that's right. Just about time we get to go to our next game on our little mini plan. I'm sure they will totally shit the bed and completely poop on my hopes and dreams. But their comeback win on Wednesday was very nice. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I just want to dive right in here. I don't have a whole lot on this particular story, but CEO Nick, being a Giants fan, did bring this up, and I don't even think it's a terrible idea. Saquon, he wants all his endorsement money into Bitcoin. Uh, the return on investment is not that bad, but hopefully he's parking some of his other buckets, other places as well. It is volatile, but I will. Since CEO Nick, you brought this up to me. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, as someone who has invested in the show, trust me, I know a few things about investing. I think reading the article, he said he wanted to put 100% of his marketing income in the form of Bitcoin. I was like, okay, I get it. You want generational wealth. You're a running back. You guys don't really last that long in the league. Like, how long? What? Like, running back on the decline.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there because
The
you are
chickens
totally
are
cutting.
shitting all over you right now.
Yes, there's a lot of chickens. Yes, there's chickens, and I hope they burn in hell.
Actually, get the flamethrower out.
All right, I'm gonna mute myself, but continue on, Sir Nick. I apologize.
So the question I was asking Justin is like, ideally, so at what age do you say a running back is like past their prime?
I mean, I feel like that's a case by case basis. There's already people.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased in regards to this, but there's already people calling him washed Zeke. Like he just turned 26. So yeah, I feel like if your name isn't anybody not named Adrian Peterson, I feel like 29, 30-ish is kind of where you start to see the kind of wear and tear catch up with these guys a little bit. The tread on the tires, to use the more common phrase. But yeah, I guess if I had to put a number on it, I'd probably say 30, 29, going into 30 is about the time where they're out of their prime. But anybody who's seen the recent pictures of Saquon's thighs, I mean, good God, good God.
I think, especially with the current contract structure in the NFL, running back is the most at risk position as far as like the franchise tag. They get the most out of you using that, and like all your useful years are going to be probably absorbed by that. But God, it's chickens. I move chickens over here. It's getting hot. Tyler, see what happens when you leave? God. But I think it's a relatively sound investment. Also, maybe live somewhere not next to a chicken coop. That's all I could say.
Yes,
I
but
mean,
100%. But that's like putting all your eggs in one basket to get to bed. And cryptocurrency all the time. So, I mean, you could be up one day and down the next. From an investor who's invested heavily in the company and then landed.
who knows, dude? Maybe 25 years from now, our kids are celebrating Saquon Barkley Day, where he gets like a 1.25% share of Bitcoin yearly. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got chickens, I got drag racing, apparently. So yeah,
This is going to be a lit show. As I said, free for all Friday.
This trend's only going to grow, obviously, with guys looking to take cryptocurrency as compensation. I'm more curious, like, obviously he's doing it from his endorsement money, but there has been precedent set for guys taking contract payments in other sports, just full cryptocurrency. I'm wondering how that's gonna move kind of the salary cap rules, because obviously, like, how does cryptocurrency, since its value is constantly changing, obviously you can't be like, oh hey, you guys are 5 million over the luxury tax this week. Oh, Bitcoin went down, now you guys are under the luxury tax this week. So that could be an interesting angle to see how that kind of progresses. But anybody wearing a Giants jersey on a football field gets no respect from me. So I hope that Bitcoin plummets and this guy's generational wealth turns into bubblegum quarters. I don't know.
Hey, well, welcome to the haters ball. Hate.
Yeah.
Hate. No, I think what's his name when he had his Panthers deal, Okung, like
that's who it was. Yeah,
half of that deal, it actually like doubled in value, and then it kind of went back down because of the Bitcoin little dip there. But yeah, the tax implications are going to be really weird on that. As far as like the return on investment, I think it's relatively safe to assume that will go up over time. But yeah, then when you start to deal with like how you're going to get taxed on it or how it affects the salary cap, that's going to be really weird.
100%. I think there's a lot of different angles that could go. If it becomes something that's more prevalent among these players. Now, obviously, again, when you're talking endorsement money, at the end of the day, these guys can do whatever the hell they want with their endorsement money. But I'm anxious to see what happens when teams actually start, signing, contracts, paying out Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency. So yeah, definitely moving with the times.
So where do you draw a line in the contract as far as if, say, we were to go for cryptocurrency, like, hey, we'll pay you X years for this crypto. Which currency do you draw a line at? Like,
I mean, who's going to be the first guy that steps up to the plate and says, pay me in pesos, bro? I want pesos.
Nick, actually, CEO Nick did bring that up before the show. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The exchange on that is probably not ideal. I'm just going to say that.
I can't imagine.
Well, with foreign currency, like, you see it a lot. Look over in Japan.
Like, I mean, I don't know why nobody stepped up to the plate and wanted to be paid in precious metals. I feel like that's the stuff that holds value,
I only want to be paid in gold doubloons, please.
Hey, diversify your portfolio.
Exactly. I mean? Disney's making moves. Animation, homie.
Animation.
All right, I just thought that was an interesting thing that did come out actually yesterday, but just something to keep an eye on because I know Okung had did the same thing, and as Justin pointed out, we're probably going to see more of this going forward. I don't really foresee a scenario just quite yet where a team can actually facilitate, like, pay me my entire contract payment in Bitcoin
or Doge.
In Doge. All right. Well, that would be very unfortunate, I would say. But
and then you have another wrinkle when you come in, like, some of these deals where cash is involved. say like in terms of baseball, where it's like, okay, you guys are covering X amount, of his
Oh, I
remaining contract. What if that team's like, all right, well, we're gonna throw you 5 Bitcoins instead, Like, how does that work, So there's a lot of variables, and definitely it's gonna be interesting to see how some of these professional leagues try and kind of work this in, because clearly this isn't just a trend, it's been only growing in attention and popularity. So it's definitely not going away, and the league's going to have to address it sooner rather than later.
Well, I mean, with your football takes, Justin, like look at soccer. Ideally, it's like there's a big conversion in currency going, even though it's less. So it's like you mentioned before, like, hey, but that's been a conversion already. Like, it's playing same, like amongst the states. It's like, all right, well, how does this really work out? We pay it in America. We'll pay out in Mexico, so we pay in peso. Yeah, it's a trend. I'm telling you, it's gonna eventually want to get paid in dollars or Shiba Inu.
That's actually an intriguing angle. I didn't really think about that. That's something that I'm probably going to research individually. I mean, being the soccer historian, this is something I should probably know. But yeah, that is interesting. I mean, there's not a lot of American players over there playing in Europe, obviously, but like, our boy Christian, Pulisic. It's like, how does that guy have to deal, like, in terms of, like, what does he get taxed? Does he? Now, I know a lot of it determines, like, where you work, like, where you make your money at is generally, like, where you're taxed or whatever you want to call it. So I'm wondering, like, how does somebody like that, if he's over in Europe, does he just pay European taxes on that, and then he comes back and just has to convert it? So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. Soccer historian needs some modern knowledge as well.
You're welcome.
I just can't accurately describe how mad I am at these chickens right now, but the tax implications are very serious for soccer players. Messi and Ronaldo have both gone to tax court in Spain and Italy. Well, not Messi, but Ronaldo has. And the conversion and being taxed in like 2 or 3 different countries at one time, it gets very complicated. That's all I could say.
Shout out Ronnie for following Marshawn Lynch's advice and taking care of his chickens. You know what I mean?
Protect your chickens.
That's right.
I can't even believe what's happening right now. I'm so upset. I'm beside myself.
Sounds like they think you're their mom. Did they just hatch?
Well, we got a hen and 3 chicks, but they've been around for. Oh, they're going back under the fence. Thank God. Probably about 3.5 weeks now. So usually in the morning they're more active. I did not expect them to be out here at showtime tonight, but that's what we bring to you. That's why you tune in.
Have you discussed with your better half about the possibility of maybe hiring a Sylvester cat to handle these Tweety birds?
Well, we have a small cat that would probably just get killed by the one hen that really wants to get outside.
Sounds like you need a new cat.
I don't know. I think maybe like a lynx or something, like a raccoon on a leash.
You need to get you a cat that's raised and trained by Bob Baffert. That's what you need. You need to get you one of those cats.
Yes, totally juiced up. That is the kind of assassin that we need out here.
There it is. That's the kind of cat you need right there.
As far as I know, that was a cat.
Yeah.
It was
at one point, before he got swole.
Mega swole.
Anyway, we move on. They might come back. It seems like they're going to come back, but I apologize to all the viewing public out there.
Apology accepted.
Thank you. I just want to take a quick look at the current, I'm just going to say British Open. Let's just be honest. I know it's the Open Championship now, but to me, it's the British Open. Actually, guys going low today. Usually with the British Open, you think, all right, it's going to be windy, maybe rainy, all kinds of weird weather situations going on, but no, especially on the. Oh, they're back. They're back.
Let me cut you short real quick. I'm not going to apologize for interrupting because this is for your boosting as well.
And I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for entertainment purposes only, those of you that follow this show, if you recollect Wednesday night's episode, my man here in the middle mentioned the name Louis Oosthuizen. And your boy right here,
Big Lou, he's just like you. He's on
boy-
meds too.
Good pull. Good pull. And if you are following along with the show, then you know not only did the great Ron predict Louis Oosthuizen, but your boy Justin over here threw out Morikawa and Spieth. So yeah, 2/3 of my predictions are in the top 3. Thank you very much. I do not see Tony Finau. Where he be now?
Where he be now?
4 under. No, he's not.
Four
He'll be
under.
on the leaderboard.
I hesitate to take myself off mute, so I apologize because the chickens are back. But
we are indeed your Oscars prediction show of record and your Open Championship show of record.
Oh, 100%. And there is going to be, in these next 2 days, there is going to be a weather day where the scoring is not like this. Today was like a free-for-all. Like everyone was getting off. Even outside of this, tie for 7th place 4 ways. Koepka's right outside of that, which we do have something to speak on that. But everyone was kind of getting loose today. So you don't usually see that especially at British Open, where it's usually just really windy, giant greens. If you miss a fairway or a green, you're just way off in the brush. But
I feel like
everyone seems to be getting
weather,
loose.
Though, there was one golfer that got a little loose on the interview process today, was there not?
There was, and I felt like I enjoyed it because I just want to see this feud continue. It was a little forced because the guy did not ask this question at all.
Well, let's set this up though, just for those of you that don't follow golf or don't understand. Bryson DeChambeau went on quite the rant and quite the toddler fit earlier this week during the tournament. Mind you, he has his club rep caddying for him right now because he posthumously fired his caddy within the last week. Yes. So he has his club rep out there caddying for him, and he went on to just, totally throw his driver provider company under the bus. And really just rip apart the performance of his driver. So, go from there.
And I did see, I think it was one of the reporters from, I think, Sports Illustrated got a hold of someone at Cobra and interviewed them over the phone. And they were like, look, dude, we're doing all we can. Like, you can't even buy the driver that he uses at the store. Like, he knows that we're in the lab all the time trying to make this, like, weirdly as impossible as he wants it to be. So...
And I believe he was referred to by somebody with the club company as, I believe the quote was something to the extent of, it's like dealing with a child, in reference to dealing with Bryson DeChambeau.
I would say that's a fair assessment. It's kind of a man-child for sure.
Oh, Bryson.
Nonetheless, after, Koepka had a great round today. And these are the two back and forth constant feud that is going on in whatever capacity. But Brooks, very first question out of the gate on his post round was, again, the guy did not ask him about this. He just, he wanted to say it so bad. So, of course, he did.
The wind died down. Compared to yesterday, I didn't think it was as bad, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. Drove the ball great. Love my driver.
He loves his driver.
Shout out to you for not being able to contain your laugh while recording it.
No, I saw it live. I mean, that's one of the joys of working at home, that you can watch these like early British Open rounds. And now we go to Brooks. He just walked off the green. And he was just like grinning, like just holding it back through his teeth. Like, I'm going to say something about the driver. I'm going to say something. You knew it was going to happen, and he did.
I mean, I got DeChambeau's back though.
Hey, I got a rep for the Central Valley. I mean, DeChambeau's my guy, but in this current, salvo, I got to say Brooks takes the upper hand. Part of me was hoping that Brooks would. I know there's a lot of millions of dollars sponsorship wise involved in this, so he probably couldn't do it. But it would be funny if he came out today with a Cobra driver and just had like a pretty good round. He was like, "Yeah, Cobra driver's great. I don't know what other people are talking about, but it seems to work for me."
Yeah, it would have been all-time like world-class Hall of Fame troll right there. But shout out to Bombs. I got your back, bro. Those of you that want to check it out, I took a shot at that fool on Twitter. I'm waiting for a response. He doesn't want this smoke.
You know who else doesn't want the smoke? Lamar Odom.
Oh, that's common knowledge at this point.
And we are still awaiting a date for that fight. We are still trying to make that happen. De La Hoya, Mayweather, all the promoters out there, Dana, even if you want to get involved, please help us out. Justin, I got you on mute.
I just said, you see this ugly fucking age-riddled face closing in on 40 wearing glasses? I will knock that fucker out.
Kids want to know training regimen.
It consists of back-to-back Irish car bombs and camel crushes. That's about it.
Well, I will try to power through on this side because these chickens they're going hard right now. I've never seen this on a Friday evening.
Can't keep the chicks off them tonight.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Wait, of course, we must pay tribute to one person.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you are the CEO, you can take a shit on camera. I'm sorry for you watching at home, but the guy's the money. We can't do anything about it. Can you, 20 seconds. You're not doing the ABCs right now. Come on, dude. There's not even any soap. You're just rubbing dry hands together. Come on.
It's just
Fucking
creepy
Yankees
now.
fans, dude.
But yes, every toilet flush on the program brought to you by Sabores Colombianos. Thank you, CEO Nick. And that is, I'm contractually obligated to mention.
Nothing gets you on and off the commode faster than Sabores Colombianos.
Yeah, in and out. The only other thing I had, actually, you know what? Quickly, let's touch on. Now we got a series again, as we are 2-2 in the NBA Finals. Chickens, chickens.
Are we good now?
Are you good?
No, I'm playing time.
Okay. Yeah. Show me your hands.
But I don't have foreign substances.
I'm not sure if I believe that. Watch them again. Nonetheless, we try to
put on the Oculus and go watch them virtually.
Oh, that'd be a trip.
No, that hand washing game is like $25, dude. We can't just all splash out for that. Hand washing simulator 2021.
God, you gotta love free for all Fridays.
And this is the ultimate free for all. I can't believe these chickens. I just want to kick them over the fence, but I can't.
Bro, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't want Peter to come after me, but
yeah, the last thing we need is PETA coming after me.
Guy literally just took a shit during the podcast, and he's concerned about PETA.
Yeah, but no animals were harmed in the making of that shit.
We don't know that. We don't know what that guy ate to produce that fecal matter.
I'm a vegetarian.
Well, somebody call Vita.
Ooh.
Oh, the Vita people are going to be up my ass about this one.
Ooh. We don't see that.
Tomato lives matter.
Yes, of course. But yes, back to the show. Yes, guys, we do have a series 2-2 now. Ron, what are your takes on this?
I think the Suns aren't totally damaged here. Chris Paul didn't really look that good. We're still kind of waiting for at least that one Chris Middleton game. It's going back to Phoenix 2-2, so kind of like a fresh start for both teams, I think.
With this, I'm going to go back and agree with Justin in regards to the fact that probably the key factor for the Suns winning. So ideally, like, he had a great game, the Suns are good. Booker went off. A little questionable whether he should have been in the game after it was supposed to be a 6-foul on J. Holiday, but did I say that right, Justin?
Yeah, he's just they live and die with DeAndre Ayton, especially in like Ronnie pointed out on Wednesday, when the size depth discrepancy is so shifted towards Milwaukee, Ayton has to perform. Now, he doesn't have to come out there and get 40 points and grab 20 boards, but he needs a 20-10 night for them to win. Inevitably, that's just the way the team functions with their current depth at that position. So, what's the old adage? A series don't start till somebody wins on the road. Well, I'm still waiting for the fucking finals to start.
Oh, yes. But you're right. Ayton doesn't have to have a great game, but, he does need to have – well, he doesn't need to score like 40, but he does need to contribute. But also, too, he needs to actually stay on the court. So, obviously, the big concern now is keeping him out of foul trouble because, like I mentioned before, him out on the court, you could definitely see the size discrepancy between the Bucks and the Suns. And ideally, you can't just say, oh, the Suns can go small, run and gun. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. They could still – the Bucks can also play a fast break game. Minus Brook Lopez, he's slow, he's big.
He can still shoot the three sometimes, though.
Yes, he can shoot the three. So it's like that key for me is Ayton. And people are like, oh, Chris Paul had a bad game. He's blowing it. I'm like, all right, adjustments then. Ideally, Chris Paul is off the mid-range game. He can drive, dribble, drive, penetrate. So ideally, if you want to adjust to this, just set more pick and rolls for him, give him options to drive, have someone roll off the screen, dish out, or just pick and pop right there.
I just think Ayton's got to be out there as much as possible.
I was going to say that's the problem. Like, you can run pick and rolls all day, but if the guy setting the pick isn't a threat when he rolls to the basket, and really DeAndre Ayton is the only one that is, it's not as effective, and that's really the hard part is, again, because of that lack of size, Giannis is so damn big and attacks so aggressively at the basket, inevitably, like, you're going to get fouls on Ayton just from Giannis continually driving it down the lane and going up at the basket. So it's definitely tough, but Monty Williams needs to make adjustments, and he's coached his ass off through the extent of this playoff. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I see otherwise. But again, should Milwaukee come into Phoenix and take the 3-2 series lead, well, then we got a fucking series, But at this rate, everybody's just holding home court right now.
So if you're Monty Williams, what's the biggest adjustment you're making going into Milwaukee? Let's say this. Or going to Phoenix.
If I'm Monty Williams, I'm trying to find a way to communicate to DeAndre Ayton to stay at home. Not literally stay at home, but like, I understand, like, especially with a young player, you're athletic, you're fast, you have reflexes, you have stamina. He's going to want to help on everything.
Play within really, yourself, though.
That's the mentality you want. But at the same time, like, you need to pick and choose your spots. You cannot, if you're DeAndre Ayton, you cannot have 2 fouls in the first quarter. Like, you just can't do it because your team cannot win with you on the bench. So, again, like I said, the guy doesn't need 40. I don't even think he needs a 20-10 game. Just be on the floor, just him on the floor. As Nick said, it changes the whole dynamic of the game for how the Bucks can run their offense and how they can run their defense as well. So, yeah, it's definitely, this is what for people who look, I'm right on board. I hate that they take so much time off in between finals games, like NHL Stanley Cup finals. These guys are playing night in and night out. They knock it out in a week, and these assholes take a month and a half. But at the end of the day, like, it's all about adjustments, and it's all about who can kind of, move those chess pieces ahead of time the quickest, and right now I think both coaches have done an admirable job of making adjustments. Obviously, Milwaukee after going down 2-0 and then coming home and finding a way to kind of neutralize Aiden and really neutralize Chris Paul as well. It almost seems like Nick touched on, it almost seems like Milwaukee's taking this approach like Devin Booker's going to get his. Let's just not let Ayton be effective. And at the end of the day, that's all they really need to do because of the lack of depth from Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree, and that was kind of like the recipe on sort of the Bucks at certain points too. Like, all right, Giannis is. We saw the knee injury. All right, he came back. Obviously, he's fine, but like he's still going to score. If he's out there, he's going to get his. Just take it away from Holiday, Middleton, to a lesser extent Lopez or some of these other guys. But now that Ayton has really emerged, especially now at that position, they don't have that size. He has to be out there. He has to just eat minutes. I mean, as Justin pointed out, it doesn't necessarily have to be like any kind of 25 and 15 or anything like that, but he has to be there just as a function of their offense and defense against this team.
Look, Brook Lopez fucking sucks, all right? I'll be the guy that says it. That guy sucks. But if he's playing against nobody, he's going to get his. So, like, again, Ayton just has to be on the floor. Just his presence is all that's needed,
What killed me about Brook Lopez is that someone as doofus as him is hitting threes and he's contributing. I'm like, God, watch someone punch him, break his leg, be physical with him. This guy should not be eating off of anyone.
I mean, I feel like that's one of those guys, though, where it's like, okay, yeah, he can hit the outside shot. You don't bank on him having the consistency to, like, lead that team in scoring, though. So, like, you're going to – I mean, at the end of the day, Giannis is your number one priority. Chris Middleton's your number two, Brook Lopez, at best, is the third priority. So, it's not something that I think that Monty Williams needs to full-on adjust for, but I do think they need a contingency plan in place for if Ayton gets into foul trouble again. They have to have a game plan for how to kind of keep those guys from just dominating them with their size,
We'll see. It's the best 2 out of 3 right now, so people are like, yes, Milwaukee took 2, but just I'm gonna go with you. Like until the team was on the road, I'm gonna go with the Suns for this one.
Oh, it's just like holding serve, like in these, especially like in the men's tennis. Like if you serve, you usually win that game. So nobody's broken serve yet, and we'll just see what happens. I mean, that first road win is really going to be probably the thing that flips the script here. And you could see, I mean, looking at the box score, the Bucks did have to come back to win that game in the fourth quarter. But
they annihilated them in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was a walkover.
And just how you're kind of calling for, like, we're waiting for that Middleton game. I really feel like Chris Paul has gotten so much unnecessary blame and, like, hate and vitriol from his turnover late in that game. You've heard all the comments about, same old Chris Paul, Clippers Chris Paul, playoff Chris Paul. I feel like he's due for another fat game. Like, I feel like Chris Paul is going to walk back into Phoenix and he's dropping at least 30. I expect him to be, top-notch CP3.
I think he's at least got one more in him. Especially, like, this might be the closest he really gets to actually winning one of these. So I think you're going to see
Lakers next year and wins a ring.
Well, my thing, I think I pointed out to Tyler last show. Like, Chris Paul is now facing a full Bucks team, so it's like there is competition that you're dealing with. Because think about it, first round AD went down. Second round, they didn't have Jamal Murray. So Jokic, yes, we knew he was going to eat, but like you weren't really playing a full team up until now. Because Kawhi was hurt. You relied on Pandemic P to come through for you. Which, granted, he did prove a lot of naysayers wrong. Like, hey, like I can actually come through and carry this. But
he's still a bum.
Yeah, like go to Shanghai, bro. So now it's like, hey, you're dealing with a full team. Like yes, Giannis was hurt, but he's playing and he's performing. So what do you do now? This is going to be a real challenge now for Chris Paul and the Suns. It's like, hey, you've had a challenge throughout the Western Conference, like throughout the Western Conference games to the finals, but now it's like, hey, you're dealing with a team who's got everybody. So how do you respond? Like, where do you find that inner killer to kind of get you over now?
I get that angle of they've had to beat teams without, a key player. But I mean, shit. These fools have been playing without Saric. We've been talking about it for 12 minutes now, Like the reason they have a lack of depth in size is because of that injury. So, kudos to Phoenix for kind of, finding ways to get through these series, I mean, hell, like Chris Paul's a gamer, dude. I said it after that clinching game when he dropped a 41. Like, no Chris Paul slander will be allowed, from myself included. Like, that guy is a monster, man. And yeah, I feel like him getting all the kind of heat and smoke and vitriol that he's gotten since his turnover the other night, I feel like he's gonna be coming out primed and ready for a big game 5.
You call it.
What's that?
Call it 30.
At least 30, yeah. I'm saying 30. For entertainment purposes only, if you want to grab yourself up a prop bet, 30 points. Book it.
He called it. One last thing. Remember, there's that dark cloud of hate still always finds a way to hit Chris Paul in the playoffs. I mean, I hate to say it, but there's always that possibility. It happened in the first round, but luckily he was able to get through that. And I was like, oh man, like, was this it, or is like something bigger coming along the line where he's gonna get injured, he can't play? You say Game 7, but
they got him with that Bob Baffert though. He's good. He's bad.
Yeah. You ate some of that hay.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. Hey Ron, guess what?
What's that?
I want to kiss you.
Ah, Broadway Joe, everybody. Broadway Joe. Well, we'll see what happens.
Give me a CEO that can hold his Hennessy. Fuck.
Yo, just I want to kiss you too.
I don't care about that jet struggling.
I don't care.
I mean, all of us are neutral at this point. We got one Knicks fan and 2 Laker fans here.
Fuck the Knicks.
And I know, well, all right, spoken like a true Knicks fan. But,
fuck the Knicks.
I know the NBA is not wild about it, but hey, watch this finals. We got a 2-2 series right now. I do think it's going to be interesting. So let's see how it plays out. Don't cheat yourself by saying, "Oh, this is boring." The Celtics or the Lakers or whoever aren't in it. I mean, just enjoy for what it is.
Yeah, come on. Get on board with the finals, man. It's like waiting for the Marvel movies to run their course. You're just going to be waiting for the next episode.
Think about last at a bubble. There were no fans. Take it for what it's worth now.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's a competitive series. You know what I mean? The ratings are up. I think people are happy to not see LeBron and not see Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or some of the familiar faces we've seen over the last decade. But I'm just glad it's a good series. I was right there with CEO Nick, man. After 2 games, I was calling Suns in 3. So
I felt like it was going the same way.
Yeah, I'm just glad we're getting a series, man.
Real quick before we get out of here, as we are sort of running up against the clock here, I just, since the parties involved here, Justin, and again, sorry, CEO Nick, but we'll just touch on where MLB teams are at right now. We'll start with CEO Nick, so we'll soften the blow. We'll just start with that. Rip the Band-Aid off quick. Yeah.
Thank God for the Orioles, huh, Nick?
Yeah. Oh man, thank God for the Orioles.
8 games back is not great, but they're still 3 games above 500, and a lot of games against the Red Sox in the second half. So I don't know how you feel about this, CEO Nick.
Well, I mean, for the start,
shout out to my dad. Prepare to get your ass handed to you by the Sox.
Oh God. Well, I'll say this: ideally, we were supposed to have a second half game, but good thing called COVID kind of delayed that. So, I mean, man, looking at this from where my predictions were, I'm like, my breakout team for this, even like I've said it for the second half. Watch out for the Blue Jays.
They're right there. I mean, they're
Yeah.
even money with you guys right now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Braves got Jock Peterson. Braves, 127 wins.
Oh wow. But they lost Acuna, so like,
all you need is young Jock.
we'll see. But
all you need is Jock Peterson and matchups against only right-handed pitching.
Yeah, pretty much that.
like looking at this, I'm like, God, like, I mean, Justin, did you even predict the Yankees in fourth place?
I did not. I can't. Yeah, I know he doesn't have the data right now. I had the Yankees. I want to say first. I feel like I had the Yankees in first or second in this division. Basically, it was 1-2 Yankees Rays. I can't remember the exact order, and then I had the Sox in third is my prediction. So no. To answer your question with a long-winded response, I had no idea that they would be struggling this much. Struggling.
No, I had some variation of the same thing. And honestly, as you know, I'm not a Yankee fan, but I'm certainly not a Red Sox fan. So if they could just win some games off the Red Sox, give me the Rays, dude. Somebody, Blue Jays, punch up out of there. Like, I just don't want the Red Sox to win that division. It's like the Giants over here.
I do.
It's ridiculous.
Well, one thing we can always guarantee on right now is the wonderful home run calls of yours truly.
Oh, of course. Until he drops dead in the booth, John Sterling will be
that guy blows so hard,
dropping gems.
Oh my God! How dare you? How dare you?
It's like letting a 5-year-old write up home run calls.
Except he's like 90.
Yeah, so probably the same mental capacity at this point.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, Jesus. It is high. It is far. It is.
It is. Yeah. Oh, that Gary is scary.
Voigt hits that one to Detroit. Get the fuck out of here.
Hicks hits one to the sticks.
It's like if you let Dr. Seuss call baseball games.
Hey, the man's an institution. But, let's take our licks over here, Justin. Actually, Dodgers, I feel like they're in a good spot. The Giants, I keep saying they're not going to sustain, but they keep sustaining. So we'll see what happens. Padres, all their pitchers are hurt, so that's going to be tough. But they did have a boat race tonight. Probably, at this point, looking maybe trying to get in one of those wild card spots, though, for the Padres.
Yeah.
And maybe the Dodgers getting one of them. Because if the Giants just keep winning, which makes no sense at all, then, someone's going to drop out here.
So ideally for the Padres and Dodgers just now, no one expected the Giants to be this good. I don't see them letting up at any point for the second half. So I'm going to say now it's just for that wild card, those 2 wild card spots in the one game playoff. So, I mean, no one predicted it. Like, people want to see the especially now down here in San Diego, they're like, oh my God, Padres are actually good. We could make this. Dodgers are still trying to are trying to repeat as World Series champs. Hasn't been done in a while. So, but they're like, is it really fair to have the Dodgers Padres put one game playoffs? Like, hey, no one wants to see it, but this is just the card that's dealt. Like, no one really expected the Giants to dominate the playoffs.
Yeah, boo-hoo, man. If that's where they end up having to play, they have nobody to blame but themselves. It's going to be a tough stretch. Unfortunately, as you said, Padres have hurt pitchers. We have Clayton Kershaw kind of on the mend right now, and then I'm right there with the man that I despise, Bill Plaschke, and my thoughts that I don't think we'll see Trevor Bauer pitch for the Dodgers again. So
probably not.
You're looking at being down 2 starters. So inevitably, I mean, what do we have? 2 weeks? July 30th is the trade deadline for MLB.
Yep.
We have about 2 weeks. So I really think, and maybe this is a mailed-in analysis or whatever, we need to see what moves are made. Because should one of these teams go heavy on the buyer's market and the other two not, I feel like you can kind of separate yourselves from the other two. So it's going to be interesting to see how these three teams kind of navigate these next 2 weeks, because there's definitely an air of, hey, we may not necessarily need this guy, but we might need to grab him to keep him from one of these other two guys. So I think it will be interesting to see how the last 2 weeks before the trade deadline plays out, and see who's able to maybe bring in some guys. Because I really do feel like if the Dodgers can just acquire one more like quality, middle tier starting pitcher, I feel like that automatically vaults them into the front runner spot. That's really all they're lacking right now. Offensively, they're humming on all cylinders. Defensively, there's still some plays left on the field, and then obviously a problem that's been prevalent for the Dodgers for years, really most of the Dave Roberts, coaching era. They cannot throw runners out. People just steal bases at will against the Dodgers, and it's really upsetting to watch that something that fundamentally basic can't be worked on. So yeah, it's definitely, we're not just going to cruise into the playoffs at this point. There's still a very good chance that we don't make the playoffs, and I still do not feel 100% confident in a one-game playoff against the Padres if they can throw out one of their two studs who have, between Snell and Darvish, who have essentially dominated the Dodgers for most of the season when they faced them. So, the Dodgers need to make some moves, spend some money. I know we're, the highest over the luxury tax, but that's a toss in the pan for the guys that just bought some ownership stake in the Lakers, So I think these guys will be all right. We just got to make some moves and got to get another starting pitcher. I guess the only thing we can guarantee in the NL West is the last place team. I'm pretty sure they're not moving from that spot.
Yes, shout out to the Diamondbacks, 32 and a half games behind the Division League Giants. Someone has to do it.
On a record pace.
But it's not guaranteed to stay in fourth place. You never know. I mean, look, the Rockies are right in front of them. So who knows?
It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
It is not guaranteed, but in this case, I'm almost going to say it is guaranteed.
I don't know. Hey, Ric Flair, are the Diamondbacks going to finish in last place?
The answer is yes, you son of a bitch.
Thank you,
there you
Ric
have
Flair.
it.
Thank you,
From
Nate.
Nate himself.
Well, to kind of also go off of what Justin was alluding to in regard to just the fact of pitching, for the Padres, and thank you, Rob, for putting me on to 97.3. The station I listen to frequently now on the road when I go to work. There's nothing structurally wrong as far as the lineup with the Padres from 1 through 9. They seem pretty decent. It's just now they're pitching. Obviously, they're hurt now. So now, ideally for the trade deadline, they're gonna have to look for either a reliever, because ideally, if you can't get a starter to go a full 5 innings, you have to use the bullpen, especially going to the next game. So getting a reliever probably the big thing. But going to that one-game playoff, one thing that if it does come down to the Dodgers and Padres, ideally it's where the game will be played, because on the road, Padres haven't been as strong. They've let some games go, especially going out to Colorado and getting their shit kicked in. But the Padres have an amazing home record, and take it for someone who's been to already 11 games this season already. I know I should be a season ticket holder. Where I feel too, where whoever has home field advantage between that one game playoff, I'm gonna call it now. It's gonna come down to the Padres and Dodgers for that wild card game. Wherever they play will play a huge factor in that as well. But ideally, injuries have held up both teams, especially they're down two major starters, and who knows if Bauer will ever pitch again in the major leagues. Goddamn.
The only thing I would say as far as the Padres, trade asset wise, is I feel like they kind of went all in before this season.
Yes.
100%.
So, and they were, one of the ultimate prospect hoarding teams. That's what gave them all this flexibility to make these moves. All right, we're going to send these 4 guys to the Rays. We'll get Snell. Send all these guys all over the place. We got Clevenger. All this stuff they've done, and now they've kind of sort of just put it all out there. So now it's if these guys don't come back healthy, it's I don't know, dude. Chris Paddock, is he going to start that one-game playoff?
Yeah,
good luck.
There's no way. And I'm gonna disagree with Nick. And again, homer bias if you want. I feel like the Dodgers are gonna win this division. I think you're looking at a Giants Padres 1-game wild card playoff.
Okay.
But yeah,
Every time,
again,
I feel like that is the most likely outcome, especially looking at this right now.
It's crazy to think that we're sitting here, right after the All-Star break, talking about the Padres and the Dodgers need to acquire starting pitching. These are two teams that I shit you not, a quarter of the way through the season, they had two of the top 10 lowest team ERAs in baseball history. I think the Dodgers were like the third lowest team starting pitcher ERA or team ERA, and the Padres were like the 8th lowest of all time. So to see that, what was once a strength for both teams has now turned into a glaring weakness, it's kind of crazy. And again, I think it just goes back to what I was mentioning earlier. Whoever makes the smartest, best moves over these next 2 weeks, and look, that may be not making a move, that may be the smartest move, but I just feel like if you're the Dodgers, you have to bring in another guy who can be a starting pitcher, because we don't know. Urias is already in no man's land in terms of the amount of innings he's pitched. This is rare air for him through his short career. And is David Price really a guy we can lean on heavily this late into his career? I don't think so. And it's a detriment to the team if you remove one or both of those guys from their current role as the kind of long bullpen guy. You know what I mean? So I think Urias will continue to start in the rotation out of necessity more so than anything. I just fingers crossed, and I hope that he can maintain some gas in the tank for the second half stretch, because again, this is we're getting into uncharted territory in terms of Urias and his usage in a single season.
Yeah, but so you pick the Dodgers to win the West, Ron. Where are you at?
I think we might have lost Ron, so we're just filling the void right now for our dog.
Got him.
He may or may not be disposing of chickens. I don't know.
Battery died.
Yeah, I can't confirm nor deny. But yeah, I again, like I said, I feel like the experience factor, and just like these guys are gonna know what it takes in the second half of a season, whereas I feel like a lot of the roster of the Giants and the Padres don't. Like these are young rosters, not a lot, if any, playoff experience. Whereas the Dodgers are the Dodgers, like it's, how many countless meaningful games late in the season has Justin Turner played over the last 5 years? Clayton Kershaw over his career, hell, Mookie Betts, like they have the horses. So I just got to kind of lean towards that in terms of what I think is how this is going to play out in the NL West.
So going off that too, me and my father, we go back and forth with sports. So my father, he shits on the Padres because it's because the fact I'm in San Diego right now, and he's a Mets fan. I'm sorry, Dad. You've dealt with your shit.
Hey, bench is clearing brawl. Mets versus Pirates tonight.
No, he's been a Mets fan all his life. He was like, man, the Padres are just pulling a Brooklyn. So remember when the Brooklyn Nets got Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
the first half-hearted
attempt
at a super team.
Yeah, and they just they threw all their draft picks out, so it's like, hey, we're gonna win or bust. I'm kind of leaning. It's like, hey, the Padres are kind of really investing in this season to win. They threw Tatis Jr. a huge contract, so he's your investment. But it's like, where else is everything going? It's like you want to
Tatis a huge contract, which he promptly spent all of it on a chain.
Yeah. He spent the boost.
I just think it's weird, looking at it, that as Dodger fans, for the last 6 years, have been like, God, this bullpen, and the bullpen is the strength of their pitching right now, and the Padres bullpen is always been their best pitching, especially in the suck years, and now it's all starter based, and all the starters are hurt, and it's
Trevor
just
Hoffman
weirdly flipped around.
Trevor Hoffman ain't walking through that fucking door.
No, he is not.
He's not.
Kirby Yates is not walking through that door, fans.
He's not. Trust me. I mean, I keep saying with a Spanish accent,
Brad Hand is not walking through that door, fans.
But yeah, he's not. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you can bring out the thunder you want, but yeah, you're shaky in my eyes right now as a closer for the Padres.
Well, they got Mark Melanson, so we'll see what happens with that.
Peavy is not walking through that door.
He is not walking through that door. It's just a fact. There's no way.
And Ron, you've been to Padres games. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why this guy?
I mean, I like Stammen. He's just like a guy that he's like, I'll take the ball. I don't care. But he might give you, 2 good innings, or he might get just touched up for like 5 home runs. But he won't ever say no.
We'll see.
Anyway, that's all I got. So we're shutting it down on a Friday. Tyler, I wish you well.
We love you, buddy. We love you.
In the desert heat.
I want to kiss you.
I want to kiss you.
I want to kiss you.
I don't care
record,
about the
I
struggling.
do not want to kiss you.
Well, I want to thank you both, Justin and CEO Nick, for helping out, just push this thing down the line in Tyler's stead while he is indisposed at the moment. But we will get back with you guys on Monday. Enjoy I'm just going to say British Open. I'm just call it what it is. Just call it what it is.
Can I say it?
I don't know. Say it.
Wait. Dave Winfield is not walking through that door.
Oh my God.
Ken Caminiti is not walking through that door.
Brian Giles is not walking through that door.
Benito Santiago is not walking through that door. Nor is Brian Giles.
Jim Leyrit. No. Can't say that.
Gary Sheffield might walk through that door, but it'll be our clubhouse door.
Fucking Darryl Strawberry. Maybe, if he needs coke, but that's not here.
Khalil Green is not walking through that door, fans.
Gary Templeton is not walking through that door.
Kemp is not walking through that door.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm getting out of here. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting down the studio. I got to close the studio. Choked out a legend. Got to close down the studio.
Take that.
Thank you guys. We love you all.
Hold us down. I can't see anyone.
At the buzzer,